Wow, everyone. Thank you so much for all the positive encouragement. I'm doing this for several reasons. One, because I know it's helping me mentally process everything, but I know that it'll help a lot of you. I can tell by all the questions that you have, and I'm going to do my best to answer them throughout this whole process that I document. I'm going to be talking to lots of people, not only through my podcast that I'm going to be releasing soon about, like what is diastasis? What do we know about it? I'm going to have someone else on that has had the surgery before so she can share her experience with everything she did to prepare and recover. And I'm going to document it all, okay? And what I can't help but do is rewind all the way back to the beginning with some of your questions around diastasis because, it's a topic getting a ton of attention, but I would say that the understanding of it is not great yet. So that's what I am all about, is helping dumb it down for you, because that's how my brain thinks. Like I gotta really think about it and picture it in order to understand it. So first of all, I want you to understand you should not be scared of diastasis during pregnancy. We kind of have to get it, because if you think about how our body has to change, I always tell my clients to think of ourselves like a balloon, okay? And our whole balloon changes when we're pregnant. Obviously, our ribs need to kind of open up a little bit as our baby grows. The front of us changes big time, right? Our belly changes big time. But you'll also be noticing that the pelvic floor is the bottom of the balloon. So that pelvis has got a lot going on with different hormone changes. The pelvic floor is having to change how it works. It's got a baby growing on top of it. So think of it being a whole big balloon that's affected. And then obviously when you look, if you're pregnant right now, or you look at a pregnant woman from the side, well, that's totally not what it looks like. But when you look at a pregnant woman from the side, like I said, we grow the most here. And that's where you get diastasis. So first of all, you have to understand, oh my gosh, my shirt's perfect for this. We have 2 six-pack muscles that go from our rib cage down to our pelvis. And before you're pregnant, there is a separation, not as wide as this line, but there is a separation between your 6-pack muscles. And when our balloon really, really stretches at the front, that tissue that's like, I always think of it like taffy, really thick taffy. As we stretch in the front, the taffy has to stretch in a few directions, right? Because we need to make room for a growing baby. And so that's why diastasis happens. It'll happen differently in everybody. Like it'll depend on things like how big is your baby? How many babies have you had in there before? Genetics is a big one, right? Some of us are just a little bit more genetically predisposed, I think, and to stretching a little bit more there. And so it's going to happen. But this is where I think that being proactive and knowing about all of this during pregnancy really helps to understand that, first of all, there's no research that says if you do this, you won't get diastasis, or if you stand like this, you for sure won't get it as bad. There's no research that says that exactly, but you can kind of put together the dots and guess that there are things that you can do to kind of help that tissue as it grows during pregnancy. So for example, like if you watch how some pregnant women stand, it's really common that they start to stand like this because their belly is so big and they're trying to make room for it. But can you see how that would stretch the front of the tissue possibly a little bit more? You can think about things like, standing a little bit more like this. Sometimes those pregnancy support belts, sometimes you can think about tape. None of those will help your body from stretching, but it can make you feel a lot more comfortable. Maybe it'll help you feel comfortable enough to have a better posture. You can always know that you have control of the core muscles that help that tissue at the front. So understanding how to coordinate your core muscles during pregnancy to help your body as it changes while it's growing can be very beneficial, because when you do certain movements, like sit up out of a deep couch or sit up out of bed, you'll hear the term doming or coning. And all that's happening is that you're getting pressure from inside from doing a sit up right? Sitting yourself up creates a lot of pressure. And that pressure is just sneaking out the point of least resistance. That's why we kind of get that doming. And learning how to use your core muscles to hold back that doming can be just teaching your body how to deal with some of the changes that's going on. So that's why I'm a huge advocate. And this is all stuff that I did, believe it or not, during my pregnancy. So I'm not saying, you know what, you do these things and you're not going to have diastasis. I'm a living proof that that's not the case. However, I knew how to do the things that I could the best along the way. And that's why I'm a huge advocate for being proactive. And this is all stuff that I go over in my online program, is understanding like, how do I manage diastasis and how do I prepare for the recovery after?